We've messed up the flow.
A little bit.
There's no natural injection. You're on the phone.
Did you see Ed Sheeran has now released another song? It's gone to number one.
No. Has he ever released a song that hasn't gone to number one?
Well, I don't know. I just checked it out because I stumbled across it on Twitter. It's a big deal. He's gone to number one. It's like his 15th or something. I can't remember how many. But I listened to it.
Was it good?
I feel like if you like Ed Sheeran, if you like Ed Sheeran's recent stuff, it's just the same. It's the same old stuff.
You said
it's very formulaic, well produced.
You said
good.
You announced on the podcast that it was going to be like his old stuff. Apparently, he was returning back to his roots.
Is that what I said about Ed Sheeran?
Yeah, you're like, I've read. Apparently, he said
definitely.
that this album is going to be like back to how he was.
And definitely not.
No, that's a shame.
It's just the regular pap.
I was excited for that.
It's the regular pap, and people like the pap. That's the thing. People love the pap, but it's the regular pap.
We give a lot of pap.
We give a lot of pap.
Yeah, do people like our pap?
I don't think anyone likes our pap.
That's sad. It's Indiana's show. Apparently that didn't peak. So
I was careful. I pulled away a little
There
bit.
we go.
I actually softened my voice a little bit for that. It's a podcast.
It's a big week for us because we've got some new toys for the show. We've
we're
changed
experimenting
a few things,
with
haven't we?
a couple of things. But yeah, how's your week?
Do you know what? It was fine. I've got one big complaint about my week, but it gets into a bigger discussion leading on from last week. But how was your week?
It was fine. Just the regular life is just
plodding
along.
Yeah. Do you know what my issue with my week was?
What's your issue?
I rely on music a lot.
Okay.
For my
well, that's
mood, right?
that's good because
it's a music show.
We're both music people, and this is a music show.
Maybe we'll speak about music this week.
Sometimes.
My issue is that I made a promise last week that if enough people commented, enough people hit me up and said I'm a fan of Lana Del Rey. People that listened to the show before were fans of Lana Del Rey because I didn't think they would exist.
Well, 40 million of them.
Well, and I guess there's a point there, right? Is that Sean, who has commented a lot, we've played a couple of his band songs, very, very good. Playing a gig with him soon. He's pointed this out a couple times now where he's been like, you're shitting on bands or artists and they have 40 million listeners a month on Spotify. That's fine. Sometimes an artist can be too broad. If you make music or a film or a TV show and your objective is to appeal to as many people as possible, then that doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's Big Bang Theory, right? Big Bang Theory is probably one of the biggest shows in the world.
Here's the thing, right? Because I always say this about movies, right? I think as a self-proclaimed movie buff, right, there's a huge difference between a certified cinema masterpiece, right? I'll throw stuff like, Lord of the Rings out there, right? Mm-hmm. Or, just like absolute classics like Forrest Gump or something. Do you know what I mean? Those are established movie masterpieces, right? They are what you would say are good films, right? Not even just like they're objectively good.
Yeah.
Whereas, the Fast and Furious,
sure,
right?
That's a good example. Yeah.
The first one I'm talking about specifically, I love that film.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Sure.
It's a shit film, and I think
even later,
and I think
other ones.
You like there's a massive distinction between like that is objectively bad filmmaking, or you look at a lot of a lot of films. There's so many films like Starship Troopers. I'll throw out there. I love that film. It's one of my favourite films. Right? It's not. When you sit back with like a movie sort of buffed head on and go, what makes a good film or a great film or whatever, it doesn't necessarily have all of those elements, but it's just entertaining. I love it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the same can be equated to music.
Yeah, so
like there are artists I listen to that I know they're not great musically, but for some reason it tickles me. Me Undercarriage.
So
I like it.
let's. I did something mental while you were speaking, then, by the way, and
I saw something happening in my profiles.
Basically, I moved my mouse on my cursor, but I accidentally dragged the shot that we were on. So at about the 4-minute mark of this podcast, the camera just moves out of frame. So it's absolutely mental. Anyway, that's my bad. To give context, last week for a few weeks we've spoken about Lana Del Rey. There was relevancy. She had issues with the Glastonbury lineup, and she spoke out how her name should be higher on the bill, and there are people that aren't headlining and she is, but she's not. Whatever. We had a big old conversation about Lana Del Rey. We welcomed some Lana Del Rey viewers who had found us, I guess, through the algorithm. We're like, these people are speaking about something you like, and they listened. And for fairness, I have listened to Lana Del Rey. I said I'd listen to an album. I went 2 steps further. Because I listened to 3 albums of Lana Del Rey. Now, I'll give context here that there's 2 ways I listen to music. Both are open.
One of them naked.
yeah, and then the other one...
smothered in margarine.
Yeah. Is that the naked one? So it's either naked or it's margarine.
Naked and smothered in margarine. And then the other is... I don't know.
Got the thumbnail. No, I'm kidding. So for context, I listen to music 2 ways. One is just I listen to music to enjoy it, right? So I'll put on an album and I'll enjoy it and I'll switch off and it's fine. And I can do that with I would argue I have a much wider range of musical taste than you.
Oh yeah.
I can listen to pop music. I can listen to K-pop, right, or rock, or heavier stuff. I can listen to, but I don't really listen to much of it.
K-rock?
Croc, yeah, love it.
Great game.
Great game. I can listen to a lot, especially commercial stuff. I kind of have there's a commercial mind of if something may be garbage, but I can listen to it and go, I can see why. Like Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake is an absolute belter of a song, right? Some people may listen to it and be like, oh my god, this is absolute drivel, but I can kind of get the commerciality. So in my mind, that's what I expected with Lana Del Rey. I was like, this is probably going to be commercial. I need to listen to it with that in mind. The other is like hyper analytical. So if I listen to music, I can listen to it and kind of try and pick it apart. And I've done both with Lana Del Rey because I tried really hard not to be super negative. Like, I don't want to come on, she's massively popular, more successful than I'll ever be. I don't want to just come on and trash Lana Del Rey. That just doesn't seem fair to do.
But
it was the hardest thing I've ever listened to. Like, I genuinely mean it. And I can say there's a couple reasons why. I mean, if I were to pick positives, so the music side of it isn't commercial. The music side feels very like cinematic. It's like a soundtrack, big production, like deep sounds, using like a full orchestra or different instruments. So there's interesting instrumental parts, and some of the songs on I listened to a middle album had some like good guitar solos and interesting sounds. So like production wise was interesting. It's got some interesting stuff, but it's Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey is an artist, right? So if I judge her just on a producer who's done a good job, that's a bit tricky. There's one massive gripe I have with Lana Del Rey, and it's fake voice. She's someone who sings with a fake voice, and what I mean by that is not only does, especially the first album, she puts on this horrendous fake voice to try, like, I don't know, you hear it, some people will release music and straight away you're like, oh, they're putting on like the indie girl twang or whatever it might be, but she does loads of fake voices. So every song she tries to, like, she'll change her vocals to suit how the song is, but it just is really jarring, and it's one of my biggest gripes in music. Probably the biggest gripe I have in music is when people put on a fake voice. I then literally, the first time I listened to Lana Del Rey, Becky was sat opposite in the living room, and she literally was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Huh?" And I took my headset off, and she's like, "Are you alright?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And she's like, "You look like you're in pain." And I genuinely, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm listening to Lana Del Rey."
Is she a fan of Lana Del Rey?
No, I asked her because I was like, it may be up her street. I don't know. She's not a fan of Lana Del Rey either. So I listened to Born to Die, which is her breakthrough album, her first one. It was, I think, the least enjoyable of the lot. That one has Summertime Sadness, it's just a dead song. I don't understand why it was so big. Yeah, I just really struggled with it. I struggled with the singing, her voice. I don't know. It felt really fake. In that whole album, it was just a really tough. I didn't find anything that enjoyable out of it. Again, some people like different things, right? We're not all gonna like the same stuff. But I struggled with that one a lot. And then I then listened to. She's just released a new album, and that album felt like the Lana Del Rey. Is it Tranquility Base? Hotel Casino Resort. It felt like that for Lana Del Rey, but I'm not a Lana Del Rey fan, so I actually could appreciate some parts of it, apart from all of the lyrics were nonsense, but the singing felt more genuine, because she's now done like 6-7 albums. If you listen to those two, the voices are like, you can't compare them, they're completely different. And then I tried to listen to a third album, which I think Sean said in a message to me, called Ultra Violence, I think. And it was the same problem. Like I couldn't get on with it. So the review of Lana Del Rey, I have no idea how she's so big. I don't know. It's interesting. Like musically, it's interesting. I don't like her voice, so that's a big thing to get over. And again, like I have to separate myself. A good producer is a good producer. So like liking the arrangement, Lana Del Rey's not playing the violin on track 4 of her album, is she? Like she's just singing. So I don't know, the production is admirable, but yeah, I don't know, the actual singing just really, I didn't get on with it at all. Actually brings me on to something I saw, and it was very reminiscent of this, but this is going to be slander now. This is separate. I'm moving on from Lana Del Rey. This is the end of the road for a Lana Del Rey relationship.
You just said the word slander.
I don't want it to be. This isn't...
Let's not make it slander.
This isn't about Lana Del Rey, is what I'm saying. But I saw a TikTok of a producer who was outing an artist. I don't know if you saw this.
I know.
There was a 16-year-old on TikTok who is a producer called 82 is his tag, and I think that's his producer name as well.
Okay.
He's only 16. He remixed a song for an artist and put it out there, and it was like a song that like sounded a bit rough.
Right.
And he did his thing, and he made it sound brilliant.
Okay.
She then reached out to him and was like, can you do that with my album? And then they worked together for a little bit, and there was these massive
right, so far this just seems wholesome.
Seems like a good situation.
Yeah.
Right? He says straight off the bat in his video, so he's talking about the situation, he just wanted credits on the song. He's like, if I can get my name out there as a producer, that's going to be great, so credit me on the songs. He worked with like a whole album, every song, either making the beats, putting the backing behind it, or on the others fixing the song. And then I think she started messing around with credits, so she would only credit him for the ones where he did the beats, but not the ones where he's fixed the song and fixed the vocals. So he's outed. Oh no! And then I think she then asked to work with him again. He's like, I don't want to work with you again. Like there's too much going on here. And then she removes all of his credits. So now he's not credited on the songs.
What?
But
I was
quite keen.
Let's talk about the most.
That's I was quite keen to pull this up because I'll just skip through. But he plays some samples of what she sent and what he made it into, and it's really interesting in terms of the work he does.
Who is this artist?
Brylon is her name. I don't know. I don't know how she's anything really.
What, if she's like got a 16-year-old that is making her songs better.
Yeah.
No, like offense to like the 16-year-old lad, but
it's and I mean,
mind you, I got her from here.
That's true friends. They gon' love you today.
To here.
That's true friends. They gon' love you today.
So that's a small.
They gon' let you overtake.
She sent me this.
In a storm that is alone, I'll just dance the pain away. I'll just dancing in the rain. I'll just dance.
And I got it to this.
Dancing in the storm that is
so much better. What?
Oh, I've just moved on to the next one.
Let's
what
talk
was
about
that
the
first
most.
one?
Yeah.
That's a professional artist. That's
That.
but, air quotations is like
Here's
what?
the thing: anyone could be an
Lana
artist,
Del
right?
Rey is a professional artist.
Don't make it. I wasn't making that about Lana Del Rey. This is a separate
All
point.
no, that's a point I'm just making. Is that moving on?
Don't make it about Lana Del Rey. But my point is, he does a few of these examples. So this is a guy called 82.
Right.
So if you check him out on the full TikTok, if you go onto TikTok,
I'm immediately
Look him
gonna start following this story now.
but
Just from that second example was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like very, very bad.
I feel like if you were a producer and that got sent to you, you would just send it back.
Yeah. A normal producer is probably like, I'm not
touching that. That's
know.
so bad, but I'm not gonna put my name to it.
Yeah, but this lad's cracked on with it, made it sound amazing.
Amazing.
I'm just gonna cut.
Let's talk about the most childish mix-up vocal, and I go back to check.
So bad.
And I was from Australia, done the vocals. I decided to just give it up and doing any more work with her after that, bringing it from there.
Couldn't even call me back today.
Now,
this is her
I thought it'd be fun
recording.
to try and remix this,
Yeah.
so I did,
And he was
bringing
like,
it from
I'll
this
remix it.
Couldn't even call me back today.
to this.
Couldn't even call me back today. Couldn't even call me back today.
Brylon heard this and was
And then she reaches out. So I don't know. There's a lot here. Basically, what I'm saying though is it's really difficult to judge an artist when so much can happen. All of the comments as well. I'm hiding them behind.
I just want to throw something out there though, right? This is going back to my movie analogy. This is what the difference is between objective and subjective.
Sure.
What she said
That's bad.
was objectively bad.
Yeah.
Like if you look at that from just music principles and the rules of making music, she was singing out of key, timing, pitch. There was so much wrong with it that it's objectively bad. That's not a subjective issue.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up now. I mean, this guy's crushing it, right? He's got 300,000 followers, 6 million likes. Obviously, the videos that we've just played have blown up. So that video in particular he's talking about has 30 million views. So there's two takeaways here. One is fuck Brylon, whoever that
honestly,
is. You're not a musician.
I've never heard of her now, and now I'm actively interested in her career going nowhere.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't ever want anyone's career to fail, but now I've heard that, I'm like, she's a scumbag.
What I would say as well is that if you're looking for a lot of artists, especially more commercial artists, will do remixes of songs.
Hit Up 82.
Hit Up 82.
Yeah, man.
He's got a link tree
that was
that you can
great.
jump
That
on.
was good stuff. I think, it's easy because it's easy to sit there and say, yeah, but what she sent in was so bad.
Yeah, but that's amazing.
That anything sounds good, but
Yeah.
I think that just sounded good generally anyway.
Yeah. If I was on the radio and what he had made came on, I wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah, even without knowing any of the story, you'd just be like, this is a really well produced song.
Yeah, 100%. So no, I saw that. I thought that was really interesting. It came during the week I was listening to Lana Del Rey, and there was this massive divide between the music that I was listening to and which. Even again, the music on itself with a different voice, I probably wouldn't have liked the songs unless the voice is like Adele. Right?
Yeah,
Because it's this cinematic, quite. Apart from you think of Summertime Sadness as a little bit more upbeat, but a lot of the other songs are a lot more reserved. So you're kind of relying on the lyrics.
Wait, are we talking about Lana Del Rey?
I've gone back to Lana Del Rey quickly.
I missed
sorry.
that completely. What are we doing here? This is the most scuffed podcast
No,
ever.
it's fine,
You didn't even miss a beat. I didn't even know. I was just about to say that this is great for this guy, by the way. This is
again,
better.
I'm going back though. I'm going back to the fact that the music can be fine, and then the performance from the singer can also be alright. But I think you need to be able to separate yourself and go, is the whole thing good?
Yeah, 100%.
But with that dude, as I said, it was just really funny to get that in the week I was listening to Lana Del Rey, is what I was saying, and I was in that mindset.
But this situation is 100 times better for this 82 kid.
Yeah.
Than if working with Brino.
Fucking who cares?
Brinosaurus.
Who cares?
Right.
Fuck 'em.
Working with her would have gone.
Yeah,
like this now, he's going to get so much like publicity and notoriety.
Yeah,
people are going to he's already probably working with a bunch of other people now.
100%, he'll be busy. He's going to be really busy, mainly as well. And here's the problem, and maybe we'll reach out to 82. We'll ask for some comments, like journalists or something. But I bet he's going to get a load of
poon.
So much fanny. He's Australian as well. They're fine. He's 16.
Australian as well. It's like a double
Australian
threat.
dudes get poon, don't they?
I think outside of Australia though, that's the thing.
Oh, that's true. Good day. Yeah.
When you're in Australia, you're just a bloke. You're
He's
not
16
You're not like an
so
exotic Australian.
This is weird. It's a bit weird.
I forgot he was 16.
Bunch of late 20s, early 30-year-olds talking about how much poon a 16-year-old boy gets in
I think it's fine as long as... Let's move on.
Yeah, especially because I felt like I know where you were going with that. But 82, my issue is there's so many artists I see on TikTok that, I mean, are shit, right? And you can tell that they're like, oh, okay, so they've gone to Portsmouth Grammar School or something, and mummy and daddy have bought them a producer whose retained salary is just to work with this little shit who has no idea of hard work, can't write a song, can't hold a tune, and they're now going to churn music out that's going to be in the charts.
I also feel like that perfectly demonstrates why there are so many artists that simply cannot perform their music live.
Yeah.
And it's because half of the artists out there are just bloody auto-tuned.
Yeah, it's overproduced. It's all in the studio.
Because they're just like, they can't hold a tune or sing a correct note. And there's so many people in the charts, by the way, that just can't sing whatsoever. And it's like, it doesn't matter. This is the big problem with the music industry in my eyes, is that it's hard to discern who's actually got talent now.
Yeah.
Who's actually got talent, because most of them don't. And that's why, like, I'm not a fan of Ed Sheeran's music or Lewis Capaldi's music, but they've got talent.
Yeah.
Sure. They can go and play live, and you're like, this is really good. Like, these guys can sing, they can
100%.
play their instruments,
write songs.
They write songs.
Do you know what the switch is though? The change is that record labels don't want talent now.
No,
and
that's
not.
It's just
I'm not saying that like whimsically, but they want a platform.
Yeah.
So if you're like, okay, I've got 30 million followers on TikTok, right? Then a record label like Sony, Universal will be like, cool, here's a record deal. I can't sing, doesn't matter. I can't write me, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've got all of the songs. You can sing your absolute terrible tune into there. We'll auto-tune it, we'll fix it, it'll be great.
And then every live performance you have, it will just...
you won't have them. You won't have them. They don't tour. The only people that do tour are like the people that do rap and stuff like that. So like KSI, and they
KSI?
I think he's released songs.
I think so, yeah, but I don't know if he's like a rapper.
I'm pretty sure he...
Isn't he like a YouTube dude that sprinkles out in other areas, like boxing?
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. So the fucking kid in Liverpool who's written 150 songs, right, and plays 300 gigs a year, they're not getting the record deal because, we've got PewDiePie's gonna, I don't know, make some folk music that's gonna get 1 billion views.
And that's a good point, because I feel like even if you look at, I think, did Ed Sheeran, was he online first? Was he like... big online first?
No. Ed Sheeran had no presence.
Because I know
hundreds of gigs.
Because I recently found out that Lewis Capaldi, he was viral online first.
Interesting.
I think anyway. I saw
sure?
Lewis Capaldi's got a documentary coming out.
Oh, it's out on Netflix. I saw it. I
don't know. I saw a trailer. I don't know if it's out.
I think it is.
I clicked on it and it said play trailer. There wasn't an option to watch.
When did you click on it?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was a trailer I saw. I thought it was out. It looked
I popped on Netflix last night and it popped up.
Sorry.
But I watched the trailer for it and I'm pretty sure it said on there that he sort of had a viral video that
really
happened.
I didn't know
so it was like, so even someone like Lewis Capaldi, who is talented, like it looks like he's only where he is now.
No, I don't think so.
No,
because I've seen videos of him supporting acts
that's a good point.
And they'll be in like quite small venue, like 500-600.
But then, do you think though that the viral thing got him the foot in the door though?
No. What I'm saying is, I reckon he got found by a label. They were like, "You're amazing."
Right.
They toured him.
Yeah, possibly.
And then they would have been filming him. They would have been putting clips up, and then one of them's got big. But you're right that if that didn't happen, he may have not made it through.
Well, because the only reason I bring it up is because it's interesting, right? Because like Lewis Capaldi is only where he is because he's got talent, right?
Yeah.
Because with the greatest respect to Lewis Capaldi, as two fat people,
we are,
and like vastly unattractive, right?
I don't know. I felt alright with myself yesterday. I looked in the mirror and I was like, "Oh, you're looking alright."
Right, but Lewis Capaldi doesn't have like the image.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like your Justin Bieber or your bloody
someone else attractive.
He's the British dude, One Direction, wears a dress.
Harry Styles.
Probably
most of them.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's the image that the music industry are looking for. Like whether it's male or female, that's what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, people like Lewis Capaldi or Adele that don't have the traditional like music industry standards of image, they're there just because they're fucking amazing.
Yeah. They have to.
Yeah, they
have to.
They don't have anything to fall back on. They have to be good at what they do.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Meghan Trainor as well, maybe. Meghan Trainor's a weird one because she got hate because her songs were all about body positivity, and then she lost a load of weight. And then, like, for a little while, it was almost like everyone hated her because it's like, you were telling me it's good to be fat.
The same thing happened to Adele.
That's true, yeah.
Because she lost a load of weight as well, and she looks like stunning now.
Yeah.
And then people, it's so weird the world we live in, because people would be going like, "Oh my god," like under comments on her Twitter or whatever. "Oh my god, you look amazing. You look so healthy. You look so good." And then people were like, "Oh, are you saying she didn't look beautiful before?"
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's not what anyone is fucking saying. All they're doing is pointing out that there is a difference between being overweight and looking good.
Yeah, sure. And it's like, good for you. You're now healthy. You're getting there. It's what I'm trying to do. I'm losing weight.
In what world, though, does like losing weight, right? And then being like, I'm really proud of the weight that I've lost, like, is brought up with like, you're a fat phobia or something or whatever. It's like,
yeah. It's odd. It's really odd. You can't really win now. Is the problem and it's the same. And I now see news articles will post Lizzo, who is the large lady who had the BAFTA winning song. Was it BAFTA? No, Grammys. She won Song of the Year last year, Grammy. Yeah, they'll always. I'll see news articles will be posted of her, and it'll be a picture of her like just in like a really. She wears like.
Laces
it's like
out.
what we put Max in. Do you know, like they clip under
like a onesie.
Yeah, like a vest, like the vest for babies that clip.
Like the thing that comes up between the legs.
And it clips in. So she'll be wearing one of those, and she looks like a bloody bowling ball. And they'll post it being like, Lizzo is looking so stunning right now, and I'm like, the only reason you're doing that is because then there's going to be hundreds of people that are going to comment and go, no, she's not, and then hundreds of other people are going to comment going, yes, she is, everyone's beautiful, she's amazing, but ultimately the risk of her dying in the next 10-20 years is significantly higher than Adele. Who's lost a load of weight. So it's just really tough. I don't know, I think people should be happy, and people shouldn't. Like, it would be great if people didn't hate how they look. However, if they're at a point where it's dangerous for their health, then, like, for me, I would prefer to be thinking, oh, okay, look, I've got man boobs, I've got a belly, you know, I've got this neck. Let's lose some weight. And ultimately, those feelings can drive me to a point where in a year or 5 years, I'm in better shape and I'm healthy. Yeah. So I don't know. So it's like body positivity is fine, but I would also argue, like, fat negativity for yourself is also okay. It's okay to feel a little bit bad.
I think that's the thing, right? Like, I'm not gonna berate someone that's overweight on the street, right? I'm never ever gonna do that. I'm overweight. I don't know why people are where they are in life. Do you know what I mean? Sure. You don't know what people are going through. There's a whole load of reasons why people might be overweight or whatever, right? But let's not beat around the bush. It is better to not be fat. Like it just is. In no way is it desirable to be fat, right? And I know people will be there. Well, some people like fat people. That's not the issue.
Yeah, we're talking.
The issue is health. The
fitness,
issue is health. It's not healthy to be fat.
Yeah,
that's why you should always strive to be healthier.
Yeah.
But then it's also like it's like I'm not going to judge you for being fat, but at the same time, let's not celebrate it. Let's not celebrate being fat. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, that was a weird tangent. I don't even know how we got there. Meghan Trainor's good though. Although, have you heard her latest song?
No.
Well, you would have heard like 5 seconds of it because it's just a TikTok sound.
Oh, is it?
It's like, I am your mother. You listen to me. Have you heard that?
I don't think it's come up yet.
It's bad. It's. I would always say Meghan Trainor. I'm not a massive Meghan Trainor fan, but her songs are good. Like it's very Ollie Murs. They're like the kind of big band swingy. And she's had a few really, really good tracks.
Here's a question:
It feels made for TikTok.
If you're an artist and your song ends up on TikTok, right? Are you happy about that? Because in my experience, just personally, I hate any song that's on TikTok.
Yes, well, yeah, but because the songs are made?
Well, no, but I think
songs are made to be
I don't know, but then I also feel like there's just because some song will get popular and then that'll just be the sound that people use for a month on TikTok, and then I'm like, I hate this song now.
Yeah,
like a song that I listened to the first time had no opinion on it whatsoever, and now I'm like, I as soon as I hear it, I skip that TikTok.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of songs and sounds on TikTok that as soon as I hear them now, I'm like, I'm not watching that. I can't stand it.
I think the problem is probably that the songs are made to be that. I think they make songs like that one there. I listened to it and I'm like, this song was made to be on TikTok. It's like, stop all your mansplaining and listen to me, and it's like it's made to be like this little clickbait instead of previously she was just making songs, right? So I don't know.
I hate the word mansplaining.
It's a fun one for sure. Yeah,
it's just the translation is just explaining something to a moron. Right? If you're a woman, then that just means that's happening to you, and you're a woman. It also happens to men.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It just means you're a moron.
Or the other way around. Like I've had at work, I've had someone explaining parts of my job and them not knowing at all as well, and I'm like, what are we doing here? So sometimes it's just like, just let the man talk, man. Anyway, that's amazing. So I guess we listen to music. Let's listen to some tracks.
Have you not got anything else to bring?
Yeah, I have, but maybe we put it on the end.
Okay.
Because it's linked to another TikTok, and then it's another discussion. Okay. So let's split them out a bit. We've got some music to play, so I'm going to load that up. I wonder how the sound is for this, is what I'm curious about this podcast, because it's obviously a new setup, and I think we're still working it out. It took us a little while to get everything going.
So we're getting our excuses out now, just in case.
I think there's a chance that this episode will have the worst sound we've ever done, and then hopefully next week we can sort it, but we'll see. Right, so the first artist we have is an artist called Dromeo the Lover Boy.
Ooh.
From Chicago, Illinois.
That has to be like rap, I reckon.
Do you?
Or like, yeah, I think it's like a kind of slow, grimy rap.
Dromeo the Lover Boy. I feel not. I feel maybe like an electronic. I think it's going to be like just an alternate indie song, but made entirely from. Do you know what I mean? Like what am I trying to say? Like Logic or GarageBand, where you just make it with sound bites.
Yeah.
Some electronic indie. I don't know. Chicago, Illinois is a weird shout for that though. Anyway, this is Your Mother and I Are Moving to Florida by Dromeo the Lover Boy, which is really funny. Amazing. And it's locked me out of Spotify.
Ouch.
And that's tricky now because
GDPR?
well, just not giving out my Spotify password for one. Here we go. This is Your Mother and I Are Moving to Florida by Dromeo the Lover Boy from Chicago, Illinois.
Stick to the same melody. If you know what's good for maybe I'll try a time or two to get to where I know you'll be waiting. I know you'll be waiting.
good.
Yeah.
Sounds really good. I have a gut feeling that since sending that across, they've then released a new song. But I might be wrong.
Ooh.
But I think that's what's happened. So they possibly, if I realised that, I would have maybe played their new song. But it sounds really good. It is indie, right? Like indie rock.
Yeah, that's like indie.
So that is Rage Dro 2 on Instagram. Link will be below. Sounds amazing. It's going to definitely fit right in with the playlist. I listened to the playlist on the drive over today, and I forgot some of the bands on there are just so good.
Yeah, it's getting long as well.
The only reason I've skipped any songs is just because they've been on the playlist so long that I've then listened to the songs a lot. So I'm like, I would prefer to just listen to some of the new ones now. But the mix of artists in there, they're going to fit right in as well. There's a couple bands on that playlist that they sound like. There's no real production.
No production though. So it was just good. Yeah, I liked it. It was. I liked the tempo.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of mellow, but still punchy.
Dromeo the Lover Boy, or Pedro, I think is his name from Instagram. Leave a comment. Right, maybe we could play your latest song next week.
Yeah.
We'll go back to back. But yeah, sounds good. Amazing. Good sound. The next band is, I'm going to say AETOS.
AETOS.
AETOS, all capital letters.
AETOS.
Yeah, and this person I actually mentioned to you because before we start filming the show, I get the bands ready and I'll put them on tabs. I don't listen to them, but I'll just make sure that we have the social media to pull up, so when I'm sharing screens like I am now, I don't have to find a load of stuff. I saw their Instagram. I believe their name is Berg Hergerberg.
It's a great name.
Unless they called the band Berg Hergerberg first. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they haven't changed it to AETOS.
I am intrigued.
But Berg Hergerberg.
Because if Berg Hergerberg is a real name, that's the best name I've ever heard.
The band name, right?
That's a top name.
I wonder, can I scroll back far enough to get Berg Hergerberg?
The name's Bergerherg.
Berg
Hergerberg.
I love it so much. So, I don't know. Maybe it's time for a rebrand, and AETOS gets left in the bag, and Berg Hergerberg comes out because it's phenomenal.
I put it this way, right? If someone was like, look, I've got 2 tickets, I don't know if you want them. One of them is to a show called AETOS.
AETOS, yeah.
One of them's Bert Hergerberg. But they're on at the same time at different venues.
Yeah. Well, you're going to Berg.
I'm going to Bert Hergerberg.
Mr. Hergerberg. Berg Hergerberg. It sounds like a Rick and Morty episode, and it's like the James Bond equivalent.
Yeah, but like
Hergerberg,
when they're watching like the TV, but it's like
interdimensional.
Yeah.
So this is AETOS. They actually sent a Google Drive link. So this may be unreleased. I don't know. And they don't have a timestamp. This is end of youth. Do you have a guess for AETOS brackets Berg Hergerberg?
I'm gonna go. I don't know. AETOS is weird.
AETOS is very like. It makes. If I'm saying that right, I may not be, but the AETOS feels very almost like mythic Greek gods. That tends to go into like metal or.
I'm gonna go like electronic.
Let's see. There was a problem playing this audio file.
Oh wow!
Make them laugh. Make them laugh. God knows you gotta make them laugh. Okay, this is End of Youth. This is End of Youth by AETOS. That's on 30. I'm quite curious to know if vocals kick in.
I mean, it was good. I can't help but feel that they might have picked a better 30 seconds to show though.
Yeah, that's what I'm... And how that works is that we ask on the submission, so if you submit your music, we put on there what, like if we were to play 30 seconds of your song, where do we start that from? If they leave it blank and it says this, we play from the start. They left it blank.
Right,
so they didn't indicate
so we played
30
from
seconds.
the start, which is unfortunate because, like, what we heard was good, but it was just the same chord progression.
Yeah, it gave nothing and it didn't build. So I imagine even if they had picked at the end of that build-up and then more, would have been a better sample. And then there's vocals as well, so we didn't even hear any of the vocals. And sometimes we get it where I'm like, they could have shown more, but there was intrigue. And apart from just being like, the vocals, like, where does this go? It's not like a drawing immediately. So I think when submitting music, they should be like, can you start it from here if it's not going to be the whole song, which is what that says, right? It's like, if we're not going to play the whole song, where do we start? We could have used a timestamp there to make that a more punchy. In terms of the actual sound, it's just a good, like, heavy rock sound. I've jumped onto their Instagram. They have more guitar pedals than our entire band together. Easily. So yeah, I don't know if this is possibly a guitarist's project and he's producing it himself, but it seems like a full band. It's a one-man band, there we go. So he's making it himself. It's doing black metal and ambient post-rock. Let us know if you have a Spotify. If your music's on Spotify, we can obviously put it on playlist as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting submission.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded good. Like, the production quality was good. I liked what I heard. It's just, it was unfortunate we had the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, it didn't indicate enough at all.
Yeah.
If it was like, even if it was like, the intro was like really technical and then you would hear that part, but we didn't, we just heard chords. So, unless you just wanted critique on his tone and sound of guitar, and if so, wrong people. Yeah, it sounded good. I use as many as, well, I have 4 pedals in my setup now, including tuner.
I have 3,
there we go,
including tuner.
You're like, not including tuner, I guess. Cool. Well, I guess it's the third band. Time for the Wheel of Fortune. That's so lame. Right, let's go. Hopefully this won't pick someone that we've already had before, which has happened a few times previously. SE Trauma Squad. SE Trauma Squad.
Interesting.
What do you think SE Trauma Squad's going to be?
I don't know. I've got no opinions.
You got
Trauma
no
Squad.
opinions.
I've been wrong 2 out of 2 so far. I'm going to go reggae.
SE Trauma Squad.
No. What do we mean reggae now?
What would SE stand for if it was a reggae band? Maybe don't answer. I don't know. South. I don't know.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what you want from me.
Southern Education Trauma Band. They're from Baton Rouge.
I feel like I know where that is.
It's in America.
Is it in America?
I think it's American. Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Ooh,
Looks
from
nice.
the south. Do you know what we always get a lot from the south?
What's that?
We always get like a lot of R&B and rap from the
true.
south.
True.
Which I didn't know was a thing, and I don't know if it is a thing or if it's just, causation. But it seems like a lot of entries we get from the south happen to be like rap. I'm gonna go rap.
Gonna go rap. I think it's probably a shout, right?
Although they say Trauma Squad.
SE Trauma Squad.
Which is making me rethink there, because then it's like, would you call yourself squad if you're not part of like a band or?
Well, I don't know. It could be like I don't want to say.
I don't know if they still have squads though. Like,
Yeah,
do they still
but
have
there
like
are
rap
some.
squads? Because I feel like that's quite a '90s thing, isn't it?
What if it's like 90s rap? I would like that.
Oh, then we're on for a winner.
A2B on the street, got down. Like the really like rhythmic, everyone's party. I've got a Google Drive link for this as well, which I think is a first for the show. And we're going 207. I personally, before I even opened the Google link, was gonna say my gut was telling me rock from SE Trauma Squad, but I don't know, I could be wrong. The song's called Venom. I'm feeling good about that now, but let's see. And they said 208. I can't see the time.
Tries to believe that he's still there and she's still dreaming. She dreams at night of things she's never heard or never seen. And when she wakes, she tries to believe that he's still there.
like it a lot.
We were both wrong.
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Kind of what
That's more
grungy.
kind of like sort of mid 2000s punk.
Yeah, we had this side. It's kind of like Fountains of Wayne, and
yeah.
that sort of
Like
teenage
kind of some
Sum
41 sort of.
American side would be like We the Kings, with
like
the
Green Day,
equivalent
maybe?
of that Green Day. It's a great sound. The only sad thing I have is we don't have a social media from them, and it was a Google Drive, so I
So we
can't
can't
really
link it.
I can't put it in the Spotify yet.
We'll have to reach out to them and
Let's see what the deal is.
Story is there. Maybe it's a song that they haven't really fully released, or
100%. I possibly might send them an email before we release it to see if I can get something to link. So if there's a link below, then they've come back to me. If not, and you're SE Trauma Squad, then put a comment and let people know where they can find your music. Let us know. I mean, it may just be early, and if it's early and they've not released anything, which the file name of this tells me that they're pre-release. It's like it's Venom brackets PAF mix 2 close brackets .mp3. So it's like this may be a work in progress. If it is, it sounds
great.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds great.
I'll be really excited to actually listen to them and see what they do.
Yeah,
but right
so if they get back to us in the meantime, and they have since released it on Spotify or whatever, we'll obviously put it on the playlist and we'll let you know that it's on there, and just give them a kind of another quick shout out just to make sure people know.
It felt really familiar, and while I was listening to it, I was starting to worry if we've played it before, because it felt so familiar. But I was like, I'm certain I've not played a band called SE Trauma Squad. Like, I'd remember putting that in the description. So it felt familiar, and I don't know if it's because it falls into that really nostalgic genre. And if so, then that's great. Look at that massive yawn. I'm cutting to you as well. I'm not even cutting away from you. I'm cutting to you.
Huge. Well, I mean, I'm a very tired boy. I was up late last night watching the New York Rangers lose to Buffalo in overtime, and then we were up at I was up at 6 a.m. today to watch the Grand Prix because it's in Australia.
I was up. We got up early as well.
I'm a very sleepy boy.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fine, and it's okay to be tired. To pull the curtain back, we film this in the morning usually, and then we started a bit earlier today because we had the new interface and these new stands as well. We've got the I don't know. I mean, it's not really that exciting for especially the audio listeners. There's 5 of them that are like, what new stands? But they know about the interface because it may sound like shite. I don't know. I had another TikTok that I thought was going to be quite a good. I'm trying to press this before our generic FYP plays. Okay. I think you have told me that you've seen this video, but I thought it might spark a bigger conversation, possibly about how to act at not how to act at gigs, but how important it is to be in good.
Oh, okay.
Energy.
I know what you're talking about now.
So, and I think a lot of people have seen
it's the clip of the dude just going.
Stop playing! Are you fucking not been here the entire time? Listening to how every other act's been
Have
going?
people seen this?
Are people seeing?
Thank you very much. Great act. We'll see the next one.
Let's talk about the most childish.
Oh my god, I am an idiot. Sorry, buddy.
Thank you.
So
And disqualified.
it's
You could have been a man and said sorry for the way that you acted. I think you said someone's trying to help you. Fuck off. Fuck off.
So
what is actually
context
happening here? Because I don't know the context. Also, what is this? Is this some sort of competition? Because you said disqualified.
Redneck Talent Show with Patty Mayo. Now, I know what you're wondering. Who the hell is Patty Mayo? I have no idea.
Let's talk about the most childish.
Oh my god, let's stop doing that. Sorry, I was just closing TikTok.
You have to.
I was just closing TikTok. We're fine. Let's talk about 82. Shout out 82. Great producer doing great stuff. So what's happened is there's a band, and they're called Audio Crisis. They're in a talent show with this Patty Mayo person, right?
Right.
Who I mean, it sounds just like a burger order, but I guess Patty Mayo. I don't know who Patty Mayo is.
You've got to put this on the main screen, dude. Whenever you do that.
Oh no, I was just googling to find out who Patty Mayo was.
Oh well, you might as well then. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's a YouTuber, wannabe bounty hunter.
I'm sorry, bounty hunter.
I think so.
As in, like,
I don't know.
Dom the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, I think so. Patty Mayo's an actor, and he. Right, okay, I don't know. He's an absolute what a scrub.
Right.
Yeah, but so he has a talent show and on the clip, and I think initially it can be really easy to look at a clip and go, the band aren't being great, and they've been.
Well, because this is the thing. Because I saw that clip and I don't actually know what's happening. I wasn't 100% sure who was in the wrong because I kind of missed.
Yeah. What
happened?
So and on the clip we showed there, like I think he did a little like gesture at him, and then that's when he's like disqualified, right? The band, so they've come out and I think they've given some context because worryingly at the moment it can look bad for them.
Yeah.
Because they're having this like off. Essentially, they said in this talent show, they booked too many bands in the final stage. So then they were going around to the bands being like, okay, everyone needs to cut their set to 1 minute long. Now, straight away, I'm going to say that is so much pressure to put on a band because they've not rehearsed how to come in and how to come out of a 1 minute slot. They say to the stage manager, they're like, this is really tricky because like the way the song's built, the song that we've rehearsed to play on this show, we were told through, and then the stage manager says, play 3 minutes. Like, it's fine, we're opening the curtains with you guys, play 3 minutes. So the curtains come up for them to play their 3 minutes, and I think the singer or the backing singer doesn't have a mic. So they go to the side of the stage and they're like, can you get me a mic, please? The side of the stage give them loads of sass, and so I get out, like, I don't know what they say, and then the guy who asked for the mic goes back to the band, he's like, well, that guy's a sassy ass, right? So that's the friction already.
Right.
And then as they are playing their song, that guy is screaming, stop playing, and then has this massive go at them. They kind of kick back, being like, what's going on? And then that's what happened, right? That he started shouting, he started swearing, calling them names.
So basically he's a tyrant.
Yeah, he seems mental, yeah. And it ended with the guy, I think the Matty Mayo, whatever his name is, Patty Mayo.
McGuinness?
Paddy McGuinness is there. I think he says, like, what are you going to do about it? So the musician's like, oh, go outside if you want. Like, if that's what you want to do, if that's how you want to resolve this, we can go outside if you want. But so he's come out and give context to it. The main thing I was going to say, and it's what I thought about on this clip, is the importance of
Being an Idol.
Being an Idol by Oasis is a really good song, but the importance of being together at a show, right? We see it all the time that we'll play gigs, and I, especially when I was younger, saw it, that people can have such egos. Normally it's the band side. Normally bands have such egos and they just despise the sound engineer, and the sound engineer is this person that's not letting them throw the mic and not letting them do all this stuff. What you need to do in any gig is make sure that you're at one with the sound engineer and the promoter and the people running the show, because when that happens you'll put on the better show, right?
Yeah, but also just be civil and nice to everyone at the venue that you're playing at, because one, you want to go back there, right, at some point potentially, but two, you don't know what connections everyone else has got. You don't know what connections that sound engineer has got to other people in the industry. Like, so all of a sudden, if you're a douche to like a sound engineer at a venue, all of a sudden that he'll start talking to his sound engineer buddies and stuff.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, don't work with that band. I work with that band. They're a nightmare.
Yeah, 100%.
Like they were so rude to me.
Yeah.
So like just from that perspective, like just bloody, and then also it's just as long as like the sound engineer isn't a douchebag himself or
and this is what I was about to quickly say.
I'm like,
that clip is the sound engineer and the organisers are in the wrong from the get-go.
Yeah, for starters, right from the off, like they're not set up properly.
Yeah,
they haven't set up the stage properly. And then when your man has gone off being like, I don't have a microphone, they're then giving him sass, and I'm like, so. And
they've cut the set down to a minute as well.
And it's like you can't just cut a song down to a minute. We've already spoken about it, but I mean, you can't just go a minute.
Yeah.
That doesn't. You have to rework the song.
Yeah, 100%. Because this is a point in a talent show. We could play a verse, almost like the clip that got sent in by one of the bands, and the verse isn't that great, but it's because it builds to the chorus. It's shitty. So from that particular one, my point is that knowing the context and hearing the story and then rewatching the video, the guy running the show is out of his mind. Like, he's mental. He's a tyrant, as you said. And then from me, the typical way that relationship breakdown is usually led by a band being egotistical. It can be the sound engineer being egotistical as well. It's tough to know because you don't really, most of the time, if you're playing a gig at a venue, the venue's like, here's the sound guy, and you don't know beforehand. So you can have a situation where a sound guy is power hungry, he got bullied at school and he's taking it out on the cool kids or whatever it might be. But even in that situation, you have to be like, okay, how do we work this, right? If you go up to them, and I do it at every single show, I'll go up to the sound engineer straight away and I'll be like, my name's Rob. What's your name?
Me, Tarzan.
Yeah. No, I go up and I'll introduce myself and I'll find out what their name is and I'll know them by name and I'll go, how do you want sound check to go? How do you want us set up? Like, we can set up our amps this way. When we sound check, we have this chorus that uses everything, and then we have a lower part, and you just speak through everything. And if you're on the same page, you normally get a better show from it.
Yeah, well, and I also think there's an element of you're going into their house.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going, like, this isn't your venue. They don't need you. Like, especially if you're at a stage where you're just on the circuit doing gigs, wherever they come up. You can't sit there and be a bunch of prima donnas and be like, we need this to happen this way or whatever.
Yeah.
You just have to you come to a mutual understanding and, like I say, what's going to make your life easier. How can we work together in the best way possible to get good sound, right? But yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one, but I mean that just sounds like a Mickey Mouse production.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then obviously that burger bloke. Burger sauce.
Yeah.
He's a knob.
Yeah.
He's a knob, man.
They've been like, okay, we have $200 and left in the budget, and we were asked to have a celebrity host. And we're like, we found a YouTube bounty hunt.
Do you know, like without knowing anything about him, he strikes me as the kind of person that just wants to make it.
Yeah.
Inverted commas, he just wants to make it. Doesn't matter what it is, just wants to make it. There's people out there that they just want to be famous.
Yeah.
And it does not matter how. It doesn't matter what they're doing, they just want to be famous.
All of the comments.
And those are the worst kind of people on the planet.
Yeah, it makes them insufferable.
Yeah.
They're tough to talk to. They're tough to be around.
Well, because everything's fake.
It's
everything's
really narcissist as well. Yeah, it's narcissistic. All of the comments on that video as well, the main video that went viral, were just like, what the fuck is a Patty Mayo? Like, everyone's like, I fucking have no idea who this little dickhead is. And then he didn't fight as well. Obviously, he was being like, what you do
like
about
those sort of people never fight.
Yeah, as soon as you challenge it, they're like,
And it's like I say that as I'm not a fighter. I don't fight people. Never been in a fight. But the people that talk about fighting, they're not fighters either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I remember I had a situation. I pulled into my road where I live, and someone was on the side of the road on their phone in the car, and he saw me pulling in, so he pulled his car around and blocked the road and then was like sat being like, back off to me, and I was like, I'm not backing off, and he just sat there just looking at me, and I got out of my car and I was like, what are you doing? Like, you're on the side of the road and you pulled out to block the road, just back off. And we just be like, oh, I'm going home, you're sat in your car on your phone for whatever reason, just reverse. And after a while, they reversed. But as I was walking back to my car, he went, yeah, walk away. What are you going to do about it? And I was like, I came out my car and I've just come to yours and you haven't even cracked your window. You've kept your window like this. You're like, it's so funny. But yeah, it's always the people that want to look big and bark loud.
I always feel like the people that are just quietly stood there, quite confidently, but not getting involved, they're the people that are going to knock you on your ass.
Yeah.
Because they don't need all the talk. They don't need all the talk because they've got the goods.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're like, I don't have to worry about.
Yeah, I don't have to bark and bark and bark because I don't need to try and scare you.
Yeah. Well, I was going to keep it on mute. Do you have anything else? You said about Ed Sheeran as a song.
I brought up Ed Sheeran as a song. No,
that's good.
I mean, it's not good. I mean, it is good. It's good.
Have you ever spoken about your first ever gig?
I
don't think
gig
you have
that
one
I've
here.
been to, or
No,
the gig that we did.
Play.
Yeah, well, I think in an early episode.
Oh, wait. No, I'm saying first ever gig, and it's because we're discounting one of them that just didn't count. Because I'm not counting Sheffield.
Oh.
I'm counting Reading as the first gig.
Right.
For you, because that was.
Oh,
that was the one in front of people. There were many people in Sheffield.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. I made an absolute titter.
Here's the thing. So the
gig actually went.
Oh,
well,
it was a phenomenal gig.
Really
I love that gig.
But it had the worst possible start for me personally. Especially if you know the type of person I am.
I'll give...
Right?
Yeah.
I'm the sort of person that if I've walked into, I don't know, let's say KFC, right? I've walked up to the counter, right? I've bought my stuff, right? And then as I like hold my drinks and my food, I drop the drinks and the food, right? I'm the sort of person that will run out the door and never go back to that KFC.
Sure.
Ever. It happens to me at the gym.
I was thinking of the gym.
I was at the gym once upon a time, a few years ago, before this happened, because I was in pretty good shape before COVID happened.
Don't blame COVID. It was years before COVID. You and I let it go.
No. Because when I joined, right, my sort of like previous job, right, that was just before COVID.
Right.
And I've got the suit to prove it, baby. I was thin.
Okay.
I was in good shape. That suit jacket I've got right now doesn't go anywhere near me. Right? So that wasn't long ago. That was like 2020. So 3 years ago. Right? And I was going to the gym regularly. And we've got, I don't know, any American sports fans might know, but we've got the Gatorade bottles, right?
Yeah.
That I've got, like, they don't pour out unless you squeeze, right? But they're really good, really convenient.
Sure.
I love them. I take that to the gym all the time. I don't know what happened to me, but basically I got off a machine for some reason. Instead of just putting it up to me and squeezing, right? Because that's what you do. You go like that, squeeze, boop, comes out.
Yeah.
I unscrewed the lid and then did that and just poured it all over my face. I just violently threw water.
Was the lid on
into my face?
Like you unscrewed it, but did you keep the lid on, or did you take the lid off?
I don't know what happened to me. I think I might have had a stroke. And then I did everything as I normally would with if the lid was on with the squirty bottle, but there was no lid. So I just poured water all over myself, went all over the floor. People literally stopped and looked at me. I think a few people thought I'd thrown up because it kind of sounded like I'd thrown up.
Oh, because you're like,
no, but because of the like splatter on the ground as well, right? But I literally looked around a little bit. I screwed the top back of my bottle. I went to the changing rooms. I got dressed as quick as I could. I got out of there. I have not been back to that gym since.
Here's a question,
right? Because there's a fear. I have a fear in my head, right? That even up to 3 years, 3.5 years. Right, I'll walk into that gym and there'll be some guy there going, "You're the guy!
You're Warhol guy!"
Every new starter we show them that video.
They've got a motivational poster that is you just pouring water over yourself.
Yeah.
I like to think that there was one lady in that gym, right, and she's like, "Oh, I've had so many weirdos in this gym, but at least today it seems fine. There's that guy over there, but he's not doing anything weird." And she looks over at you and you're just like, gotta go, running out. It's really bad.
But that's a bit of context. That's the kind of person I am.
And then I'll give the rest of the context.
I don't deal with that sort of stuff.
I'll give the rest of the context. So the band that we're in, we spent about a year rehearsing before we started playing shows. Because I had been in a load of other projects. So I kind of wanted to be like, let's get the standard, and then when we launch...
I barely played an instrument.
And I think we've told that story, how you got into the band was like, literally, I need a guitarist. And you're like, okay, I'll go buy a guitar. And you kind of, shook off the dust and got with it. So when we were like booking our first line of shows, I kind of was like, let's just book 3-4 shows to just test going out and playing. And we had one in our hometown, Reading. So I was desperate for that not to be our first show. So we got an opportunity to play, and I think we've spoken about this gig. It was in Sheffield. It was like 3.5 hours. Don't want to get into promoters or anything like that. because it's just unfortunate. But basically, we travelled like this 7-hour round journey to play a show for a promoter and the headliner and the other main support band to just not do anything. So they didn't promote it. There were no people there. The only people that were there that weren't bands were a couple people we bought. So for our first ever gig, we were the only band to bring people. So we don't really count that as our first gig because it wasn't to anyone. The sound was terrible. We hated it. Yeah, so we basically drove and paid petrol money ourselves to play in an empty pub. But the next show
with terrible equipment.
Oh, awful! Everything was bad. We couldn't hear anything. It was terrible. But then we kind of had this attitude of we've done it now. That was the first one. It can't really go worse than that, really, without like a fire or some actual emergency services.
Yeah.
We then had a show in Reading, and what was good about the show in Reading is we sold a ton of tickets.
Yeah, full venue.
We sold the most amount as well. I was shown. We ended up with some disputes with that promoter as well, but the show went great.
This sounds like it's an us problem.
It does, doesn't it? No. One thing I would say is that they have a money agreement that they didn't pay up on. But in Reading, we sold a load of tickets. The other bands did great on ticket sales as well. So we were playing this full show. But that for me is the first ever time that you're going to go and play in front of these people. That was the first gig you were playing, proper gig.
Yeah.
Talk us through it. What happened? Soundcheck went well.
Soundcheck went very well. Everything was good. Set up my pedals and everything.
Yeah.
All good. And then obviously we weren't playing first, right? I think we were like the second band? Third band? We were literally just before that. Yeah, we were the main support. Everything's all set up. We sort of go back, listen to all the other bands. Everything's great. I'm a bit nervous, but not overly nervous. I mean, I'm not like I've performed in front of people before in a sort of theatre aspect and stuff like that, and I've never been shy of getting up and doing karaoke in a pub full of people or whatever. But it's a bit different when you're performing music, so I was a bit nervous. But got up on stage, obviously, getting everything sorted, about to sort of start tuning and making sure everything's all good. I put my guitar over myself and then I step on my tuner, make sure that's all good. I pluck a string and the whole guitar falls. My strap wasn't on properly, so the guitar just drops off of me, smashes onto the pedals, smashes onto the pedals. Right, so immediately I'm embarrassed because there's a whole massive room full of people that have just seen me drop my guitar on stage. But then even worse, I compose myself and pick myself back up, put my strap back on, make sure it's like
properly on.
Yeah, properly on. And then I look down and my tuner is smashed to pieces.
You destroyed your pedals.
Completely destroyed my pedals.
And then nothing would work. Like all the sound would work.
Nothing worked. So then I had to go to another band and be like, can I borrow a tuner?
It was so funny.
And that was the start. That was like the first proper gig.
I think though, but then the gig went great.
I knuckled down.
Yeah.
I composed myself. There was.
Oh no, we started a song, didn't we?
I did start. We did start playing a song, and I was playing a completely different song.
Yeah, I think it took you a long time to learn the names of the songs. I would turn around. I would turn around and be like, "This one's Better Things to Come," and Better Things to Come. Like this little like dinky intro, and you played one of our heaviest songs. That starts with, like, big guitar riff. So we started playing them. And we were like, "Whoa!" So that was the only one we did. But again, it was amazing. We had people dancing. We had people really getting involved. It was an amazing gig. I think that was. We had a couple of highlights last year, and that was one of them. It was like our first proper show, and we absolutely crushed it.
But I think we spoke about that because even that mistake I made when I started playing the wrong song, right? I feel like it's 100%. It's not an issue.
Yeah.
People just look back at that, and it was a funny moment.
Yeah, and we stopped and went, "That wasn't right. Let's go again."
We stopped, made a little joke about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great start, but yeah.
Here's an interesting one.
Good gig though.
The gentleman that lent you the pedal, his name is Ted. I just doxed him.
We can bleep it.
or I can say his full name. I'll message him and ask him. That's fine. But I've messaged him a few times, but because Ted is the bassist of Purple Grace, who was, I believe, on the first episode of the podcast. It may have been a little bit later, but very, very early on they submitted, and he had just joined the band, so he was like, "Yep, cool. This is my new band." Submitted them. They're great. They come on the playlist, and I love it. He's just announced that he is about to have a baby boy.
Oh,
so he's expecting a boy. So
congratulations.
Ted. We had a chat. We messaged back and forth, and I was like, if you have any questions or anything, then let me know, because I've done some of it.
I've made a baby.
Yeah, I made a baby. I was there. And we had a back and forth talk about his main concern was bands and music. He was like, you still do band and podcasts and stuff. How are you doing that? So that was an important point. But yeah, it's really exciting. Good luck to you. Thanks for lending Ben a tuner back in the day. It was very gracious and kind of you. Hopefully,
I'm still using that same strap, right?
I thought you were going to say tuner. I'm like, you need to give it
back. No. I didn't take his tuner. But I'm still using the same guitar strap, right? I need to replace that.
Oh, is it bad?
Oh my god! It's like every time I put it on, I have to keep adjusting it. And I have to keep.
Mental.
It's terrible.
You can get strap blocks as well on a guitar.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But get a better strap first. If you even strap blocks, if the strap isn't good, then you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That was fun. It was just one. I think about that a lot. Because I was tuning my guitar, so I'm like ding 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 ding, crash, and I was like. You're right, and you're like, yeah, and you're like picking up, you're trying to save face. I see you panicking, and then obviously it didn't work.
Because I can't hide stuff like that as well. Like if something happens and it's embarrassing, I immediately go bright red.
Yeah,
and I immediately start sweating.
No, you can tell.
I'm a sweater.
Yeah.
And it's like when I'm nervous as well, I'll sweat as well. So sometimes on stage, I'm like.
Yeah,
I'm geezing sweat.
I will say I sweat a lot before.
Yeah.
Because it's like the lights, and I do try and put energy. I'm not like singers that like go all out. I'm not dancing around, but I try and put some energy into it.
And that's the thing is like I don't actually feel nervous whilst I'm playing.
Yeah.
And I'm into the song. I'm doing all like the sort of backup vocals and the harmonies and all that sort of stuff. It's not a problem. I'm fine. But there's that moment before when all country.
I thought you were really posh.
No, I thought it was like it's a moment. It was a moment over there.
Before.
Yeah, right.
I thought
the moment.
It was crazy.
But there's a moment as I'm setting up right for the gig. That's when I'm at my most nervous.
Yeah.
When I can just feel everyone watching you set up.
Yeah.
Like you're putting your chords out, you're putting your pedals out, and everyone's just watching.
That?
Yeah, your chords.
Like you're
cables.
Oh, you said chord. I thought you meant like chord sheets. I thought you looked like a church pianist coming out. Like, what are we doing today?
You're putting all your cables out. You're unrolling everything. You're setting it up. That to me is the most nerve-wracking part.
I've said before that I'm the same. I hate that bit because you walk on and it's like it's douchey, right?
It is douchey.
Douchey, even though people are there and they see and they're there to hear you.
To me, it's the same equivalent as I hate ever when I have to say the words I'm in a band. I'm in a band. It's like I never like set out to say it, but there are scenarios where you're forced to say those words. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm in a band. But I hate saying it. I hate talking about the fact that I'm in a band because I think it's just dude, what are you looking at?
Nothing, sorry.
You've got to stop it.
Sorry, I was just
it's freaking me out.
I don't know, man. I don't
look at my goddamn arm.
I was admiring it. Sometimes as well, I realised today, sometimes you'll be talking and I'll just watch you on here. And I'm listening to you and I'm like, yeah, this guy's got a good point down here.
Anyway, what was I even saying? What was I saying?
I don't know. Sometimes it's
just saying the words like talking about being in a band is the most douchey thing you can do on the planet, and I hate it.
Yeah,
but when
stop hitting the table. Stop, the mic is on the table. It's so annoying. Every time you're doing that, you're punching me in the ears. It's like, boom.
I know, I apologise. It's the first time we've had
table mounted.
It was the first time we've had table mounted mics.
They're good though.
Look at the range of movement.
Yeah.
It's great, right? But I need
to get
used to it. I need to stop interacting with the table.
To go back, I agree. It is douchey. I always feel that even at shows, in the context of it, you can have 90 people that have come out to see your band, right? 150 people in the room, and I'm still like, oh god, I'm the guy that's setting up. Like, everyone listen to me. Even though when we play, I love our songs now. I think our songs have grown to a point where I'm really proud of them.
And I feel like we tend to get a decent reception from them.
Absolutely. I feel like the old band now. Like when I was 17, we would go and we didn't know what we were doing. There was this old band that knew what they were doing, and I feel like that's where we're at. We pieced it together the right way, so I feel great. However, and I've said before on the podcast, it's not I don't want people to speak to me afterwards, but the pack down and then the bit where everyone's like, oh, I love that. That makes me feel really tense and nervous, and I don't know why. But that's where my anxiety kicks in. I can play the whole show. I won't be worried at all. I won't be thinking about anything. And I'll look at the crowd and I'll be making eye contact with people and seeing. But it's that moment after walking through, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna get a Coke, and I walk through the crowd, and like some people will speak to me, and some people won't speak to me, but you don't know who is who. And so I'm walking through, and I just feel so self-conscious that I'm like, all I want is a bloody Pepsi Max. But I'm like,
I mean, all I want is a pint of Guinness. But...
And then someone will go to speak to you, and you're like, I don't know what this is going to be. Like, is this going to be about the band, or are they going to say like,
you're double parked?
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That stresses me out. But anyway, I don't have anything else.
I don't think so.
We've got these, for context, we've got these and this new interface, because some people may be wondering why we've changed anything, because it was such a perfect show before. They were like, how about this? Change the format, the hosts, and you got yourself a show. We've got these new stands and interface because we have guests now booked for the show. Mm-hmm. So we have dates coming up where we're going to be shooting. I think I possibly may email... kind of the mailing list, which we don't have, but we have bands that have submitted, and give them a heads up. We may get some questions.
I was just about to say, like, if there's questions, without sort of giving away who it is or anything, but we're going to be speaking to people that have just got really good insight into the music industry, into production, into sort of like, you know, working with various artists and stuff like that.
I think it's fine to say. And obviously we can just, if this cuts quite hard in a minute.
Well, I just don't want to, because I know it's
but what I was going to say,
it's like it's still a little bit down the line, isn't it? Like,
yeah, we don't need questions yet. What we'll do is maybe the week before we'll say at least what they do. Yeah. So if it's a producer, we'll be like, there's a producer, and you can ask your producer questions or whatever it might be. But that's why we've got kind of new mics set up. We're testing a few things. So apologies if the sound this episode hasn't been brilliant. Hopefully it's been passable. Maybe it's been perfect. But Ben's definitely banged the desk about 8 times.
Can confirm.
I have a minor concussion from it. So, apologies for that. We will sort it out. Well, I won't sort out Ben. I don't know what to do about him. But we will.
You're just going to have to put up with it.
Yeah.
Until one day I'll learn not to bang the table.
Or you just lie on the daybed behind you. And we just stretch that all the way out. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment whatever you want.
Beans.
We said beans last time.
Drop your beans down below.
But beans is good. What did it mean? Be...
Oh my god, I'm going to have to watch the clip back.
Be excellent and...
Normal?
Never... Be excellent and... I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Ciao.